Fresno County Department of Public Health presents Receiving, Staging, and Storage, or RSS, for pandemic and other public health emergencies. In case of a terrorist attack or other sudden large-scale emergency, bulk quantities of essential medical supplies could be needed on short notice. In Fresno County, such an emergency could require the treatment of 1 million people in under 48 hours. To accomplish this, Congress in 1999 launched what's now called the Strategic National Stockpile Program, or SNS, with a mission to deliver the first shipment of supplies anywhere in the country within 12 hours. Managed by the Centers for Disease Control, the SNS program provides what they call a push package that will arrive by truck or airplane. Once delivered, it's up to local authorities to quickly dispense the medicines and other survival support materials in the push package. The RSS, or Receiving, Staging, and Storage of these essential materials, must be quick, secure, and efficient.
It's basically a system for when assets are mobilized from the federal government, which is the Strategic National Stockpile. Traditionally, they'll come through a state warehouse, and they'll be mobilized to a local operational area or a county entity.
The workload required to sort and manage such a large volume of supplies in a time-critical situation presents a challenge to all public health departments. Fresno found a unique solution. The county already has a warehouse system in place to handle large-scale, security-intensive, time-critical events. Elections. The county health department partnered with the county's expert warehouse personnel to develop an emergency RSS system to handle a massive public health event using the same warehouse, skills, and tools already used for elections.
One of the things that we've done here in Fresno County is we've utilized the assets we already had in place. We had a general county warehouse that did all of our ordering of paper supplies and office supplies for the county as a whole. And so we utilized that system, as well as they house the elections office as well and warehouse most of the election supplies as well. So it was kind of nice to use a system that's already in place to set up our RSS.
Applying this proven system to receive and redistribute medications and health supplies gives Fresno County Health the ability to provide county-wide support to public point of dispensing centers, or PODs, closed PODs, hospitals, clinics, alternative care sites, and other emergency healthcare organizations and facilities.
The process itself is not any different than you would see in a large commercial warehouse, pretty much. The only thing is we're dealing with assets that are medications, health supplies, assets that might be being mobilized because of an emergency event, which is kind of scary, so there might be some security concerns. However, the process of receiving material, palletizing it or putting it on pallets, reorganizing it and sending it out is no different than a commercial warehouse.
Understanding the size and scope of this process is important for everyone involved in a response when the Strategic National Stockpile is activated. The most extreme case, and the standard for which we train, is bioterror anthrax attack. In an anthrax attack, time is critical. The maximum window for emergency treatment is around 48 hours. Treating an entire urban community within that time frame will require everyone to perform their duties quickly and efficiently. Why the rush? If a person is exposed to a deadly biological agent, such as anthrax, their odds of survival are greatly improved if they receive protective medication before becoming symptomatic. And symptoms may begin to appear as early as 24 hours. Simply said, speed equals survival. The faster we treat people, the more lives we potentially save. A swift and aggressive response in our community has the potential to save hundreds of thousands of lives. If your role in the emergency response involves you in the RSS system, you'll be part of the first line of defense ensuring the protection and movement of essential medicines and supplies.
I would like individuals who've been asked to work in the RSS or some component of the RSS to just really know how important what they do every day is to us, how important their role is in an emergency response. I think sometimes people think, well, I just work in the warehouse, I just move pallets around. It's vital to the success of an emergency operation or a public health emergency operation, especially if we're talking about an anthrax release or a life-threatening illness.
Your skills will be utilized where they will help the most, but be aware that roles may change and leadership may be different than your current job position.
If they were coming over to assist us in the warehouse function of a public health emergency, they would expect to be working as part of a team. Everybody works together. So it's up to the supervisor or to whoever's leading the team to keep everybody focused and to accommodate whatever the needs are of the team.
Be prepared. When reporting to your RSS location, wear comfortable clothes and always bring your driver's license and work IDs along with any other personal medications you may require over the course of the emergency. And you might also bring personal basics to have at hand, such as deodorant or aspirin.
Be ready to work in any environment. They don't come with high heels. It's a warehouse setting, so come prepared to do a lot of manual labor.
Come prepared to work in the heat in adverse conditions. It gets warm even though we have heating and cooling. Working in a warehouse setting, you're going to get climate issues. Dress appropriately. Make sure you don't wear anything that could get caught in machinery. Closed-toed shoes, pull your hair back, those kinds of things.
Make sure to take food and water breaks when scheduled.
In an emergency situation, although we would have beverages and things like that, come prepared knowing that you might not get a break for 4 to 6 hours.
In a real event, energy and emotions will be running high. A balance must be sought between the time pressure and individual service.
Have to realize that people handle stress in different ways, and so you may have one person who is just hyper and runs around and may not be very directed, and you have to assist that person to calm down enough to where they can be productive. You also have people who look at a job as being overwhelming. If you see if the work just keeps coming and you don't know if you're in the beginning or the middle or the end, for some people that can be very stressful and wondering how do they pace themselves, how do they know when they're done. They may have a very different work style than someone who just digs in and seems to handle that a little bit better. But the main thing is that when you are dealing with a group and you have a common goal, you have to keep reminding yourself and your coworkers that that's what you're there for, and adjust the expectations. Not everybody works at the same pace.
The RSS warehouse will follow the Incident Command System, or ICS, created for defining roles and responsibilities during an emergency or drill. The warehouse site manager will be one of the regular warehouse staff who'll coordinate with the Public Health Department Operations Center, or DOC, and with the medical branch of the Emergency Operations Center, or EOC.
The premise is every single person that you're deploying should be trained on what they're going to be handling. The more training you have, the more training your staff get, the lower your risks are, and the better prepared everybody is.
You have no do-overs. You have no pushbacks as far as your deadline is concerned. It's going to happen whether you're ready or not. And you can't fail because your mission is, everyone owns that. And we approach it with a lightheartedness so that the volunteers that work with us or the people that are donating their time and energies, it's a worthwhile experience, and yet it's dead serious. So the training is all geared to impart as much information as we can.
There are 4 ICS roles expected to staff the RSS warehouse. They are Local RSS Site Manager, Security Officer, Finance Section, and Logistics Section. The Warehouse Site Manager is responsible for overall warehouse operations and is on-site decision maker. logistics and finance section chiefs, as well as the safety officer, fall under the direction and supervision of the site manager. One of the site manager's primary responsibilities includes communication beyond the warehouse up to the DOC. Other responsibilities include all activities related to the activation, efficient operation, and deactivation of the RSS warehouse, including the receipt of all controlled substances. The warehouse manager may also step into any other role as necessary. Reporting directly to the warehouse manager are the safety officer, logistics chief, and finance chief. The safety officer is responsible for creating a non-hazardous working environment and an evacuation plan. The safety officer collaborates with the site manager and section chiefs to resolve safety issues and implement safety measures as necessary. At any time, the safety officer has the authority to stop operations due to safety issues. The finance section chief coordinates all activities that are related to the financial support of RSS warehouse operations. The finance section chief and staff collect and manage all documentation regarding expenditures, staff compensation, and all other financial records. The logistics section chief oversees the RSS process, from preparations before receiving to shipping out to final destinations. Reporting to the logistics section chief are the inventory processing leader, the distribution leader, the security coordinator, the staffing management leader, and the communications and IT technician. The inventory processing leader assigns staff to the 3 units that make up inventory processing: inventory control, storage and staging, and receiving and shipping. As with any ICS structure, the number of inventory processing staff assigned will be dependent on the size of the event and the expected workload. The staffing management leader supervises acquisition and processing of personnel for the RSS warehouse. Staffing management includes training, badge identification, sign-in and out, and food and beverage services for the teams. The communications and IT technician is responsible for providing redundant, direct, and uninterrupted communication between the RSS warehouse and the DOC, pods, treatment sites, and RSS transportation vehicles. The security coordinator is a uniformed law enforcement specialist who's responsible for the physical security of the RSS warehouse building and staff. All other security staff on site report to the security coordinator. The security coordinator also communicates with both the DOC and the sheriff's office for additional security personnel, escort security, and other security needs. The SNS contains controlled substances, which require secure measures be implemented to ensure the chain of custody for receipt, storage, and redeployment.
The chain of custody is that if we receive material from a delivery truck, for example, there's paperwork that's signed there. We know the time it was delivered, who signed for it, and then that's all logged in. Then we log the inventory into our warehouse inventory system so that we know at what point it was actually, the material was actually entered into inventory. And then it sits there for as long as it is not needed out in the field.
Shipments received will be accompanied by 3 forms: the SNS Medical Supplies Transfer Form, the Bill of Lading, and the pick list. The RSS site manager or designee will sign the forms, and 2 copies will be made with the original returned to the driver. Logistics will get 1 copy, and the other will be retained for RSS warehouse records. Note: a DEA registrant must sign for receipt of controlled substances. In case of absence, the site manager can sign, but the official DEA signature must be made soon afterwards. Once signed for, the shipment must be reconciled with the bill of lading.
Let's say the state were to deliver 3 semi-trucks full of crates, palletized, that were full of supplies for an emergency. We would mobilize our staff the same way that, I've mentioned. pull them off the truck, see what the bill of lading has on it, have somebody check off, first off, before we start doing anything, check off and make sure that what we received is what they say they delivered. Then we have a clean start.
Once receiving is complete, the next step is pre-staging.
So pre-staging is really important for staff who are working at the warehouse. That way, when people who are coming in to pick up the materials, they're ready to go. They're identified by a location. The location could be a distribution center, and so by staging them that way, you're ready to let them out and disperse them and create a log of form that can be signed off as what material, the amount that was dispersed that day.
Depending on the emergency, the Inventory Control Unit will have a prepared list of delivery sites. The county will deliver to its own open pod sites, but closed pod sites may come to the warehouse to pick up medicine.
A closed partner should basically know at the time of the event, we'll notify them of the location of where to pick up the medications, which traditionally would be at the warehouse. There will be paperwork that they'll have to fill out, like forms to acknowledge the receipt of a certain amount of medications or a certain amount of supplies.
Pods may have standardized pick lists or custom pick lists. The Inventory Control Unit should generate a pick list for each delivery site and attach the pick list to a new bill of lading form specific to each site. Identical order numbers should be on the pick list and the bill of lading. Check to make sure the order numbers match, and then send the forms to the storage picking unit. The storage picking unit will sign and date the forms, then fill the pick list, initial it, and return a copy to the Inventory Control Unit. The shipment, along with the pick list and bill of lading orders, then goes to the shipping unit. The shipping unit provides the pick list and bill of lading to the driver after material is cleared for delivery and loaded. Drivers should sign the RSS bill of lading form to validate receipt of materials. In a very large operation, there may be a distribution leader supervising these drivers. Once inventory is delivered to the pod site, a copy of the signed RSS bill of lading and pick list will remain with the pod site, and the originals will be returned to the RSS Warehouse Inventory Control Unit by the driver. This will verify that the delivery has been completed.
And if you're deploying emergency equipment such as medicine or syringes, you want to track it as much as possible.
The chain of custody and all the documentation that we have, we try to make it very user-friendly for someone. It can be overwhelming, the amount of material that we send out and that we entrust with the general public to carry out their role in it. The training is very specific. The written instructions are very detailed. And there's a lot of planning that goes into it behind the scenes.
Hopefully this training has given you enough understanding to work effectively with RSS units. Whether you're working in the warehouse or coordinating with them from the outside, remember that time may be limited and teamwork is essential. And most importantly, remember that you are making a difference. The Fresno County Department of Public Health thanks you for watching this presentation. Advanced training for station leaders, command staff, and individual ICS sections is available in other modules. Your participation and continued training for public health disasters helps ensure that we're as ready as we can be when our citizens and our communities need us. For more information, contact the Fresno County Department of Public Health Emergency Preparedness Program, fcdph.org. Brought to you by Fresno County Department of Public Health and Applied Creative Training.